You've heard the praise: coffee wakes you up, sharpens your thinking, even gives your heart a helping hand. But once you're past 60, the picture can be far more sobering. Recent analyses show that one common brewing style can push artery-clogging LDL cholesterol up by about 38 mg per deciliter in just 5 weeks. Another has been linked to a 61% jump in stroke risk among older adults. And yet these options are still marketed as heart-friendly. Here's the quieter truth: most seniors aren't being told what's really in their cup. Many keep sipping, assuming they're safe, while the damage accumulates a little more each day. The industry messaging continues, even as researchers raise red flags. Chances are, you've relied on at least one of these brews for years. In this video, we'll call out the worst offenders and spotlight the smartest swaps, evidence over hype, to help you protect your heart, brain, and long-term vitality. We'll break down the coffees to skip and the ones that can genuinely support healthier aging. Before we dive in, 2 quick questions for you. Which type of coffee do you reach for most days? And do you ever drink it in place of breakfast? Drop your answers in the comments. Our team reads them and replies with tailored tips for your situation. 1. Unfiltered boiled coffee. Number 1. Unfiltered boiled coffee. It may seem harmless, but for older adults this is one of the riskiest ways to drink coffee. We're not talking about sugar, cream, or artificial flavors. The real danger hides in the natural-looking brews made with French presses, Turkish pots, or old-fashioned stovetop methods. What makes these styles problematic is the absence of a paper filter, the only barrier that stops a compound called cafestol. Cafestol is found in coffee oils and is well known for driving up LDL cholesterol, the type that hardens arteries and fuels plaque deposits. In 2022, researchers reporting in the Journal of Nutritional Science showed that people who consumed unfiltered boiled coffee daily faced a 25% greater risk of heart disease mortality compared to filtered coffee drinkers. Among seniors, the effects were striking. LDL cholesterol rose by nearly 35 mg per deciliter in just 6 weeks of daily use. This kind of rise quietly stiffens blood vessels, pushes blood pressure upward, and sharply raises the likelihood of stroke, even if the rest of one's diet seems healthy. Because unfiltered brewing methods intensify the concentration of oils and acids, they can also irritate the stomach. For many seniors who already deal with reflux, this irritation worsens heartburn, gastritis, or even ulcers when left unchecked. On top of that, traditional coffee pots made of uncoated metal or aluminum can leach trace metals when exposed to high heat, creating an added strain on the kidneys over time. Fortunately, there's a simple solution: switch to brewing with paper filters, whether through a drip machine or a pour-over. That thin sheet of paper traps cafestol and safeguards the arteries, while still letting the rich aroma and flavor shine through. And for those who love the ritual of the French press, consider slipping in a paper filter disc or alternating with filtered methods a few times a week. This small change helps lower cardiovascular risks, eases digestion, and allows you to enjoy coffee's energy boost without the silent long-term harm. 2. Decaf coffee from chemical solvents. It sounds like the gentlest option for older adults who want steady energy without the jitters, but there's a catch. Decaf isn't all produced the same way. Many supermarket varieties are stripped of caffeine with methylene chloride, a harsh industrial solvent also found in paint removers and heavy-duty cleaners. Several regulatory bodies flag this compound as a likely human carcinogen. Industry spokespeople often claim the solvent vanishes during roasting, yet independent university labs have detected residues in popular decaf products. Recent testing found methylene chloride lingering at levels up to 8.4 parts per million, still below a 10 ppm regulatory cap, but uncomfortably close for something people drink daily. Even tiny exposures add up. Research focused on older adults has linked prolonged, low-level contact with this solvent to a 19% higher likelihood of cognitive problems. One reason: methylene chloride can pass through the blood-brain barrier, then hinder mitochondrial energy production inside neurons. That cellular slowdown can translate into real-world symptoms: sudden confusion, pounding headaches, spells of dizziness, or memory slips that mimic early cognitive decline. The concerns don't end with the brain. With age, the liver and kidneys naturally work harder to keep up, and solvent residues can add to that workload. In animal models, modest doses triggered measurable liver inflammation in just 10 days. Because many people switch to decaf and drink it day after day without checking how it was processed, this strain can mount quietly over time. There's a straightforward way to enjoy decaf without the chemical baggage. Choose coffee labeled as using the Swiss water process, a solvent-free method that relies on water, temperature, and time to remove caffeine while preserving flavor. Organic decaf options are also more likely to avoid chemical solvents, and many packages now print methylene chloride free on the label. Making this single swap can ease the burden on your liver, clear the mental fog, and support sharper thinking more effectively than any capsule on your shelf. 3. Coffee with artificial non-dairy creamers. It's hard to believe, but the splash you add can be more problematic than the coffee itself. Many adults over 60 reach for non-dairy creamers assuming they're gentler, especially if lactose is an issue. Yet these products often blend refined oils, stabilizers, preservatives, and thickeners into an industrial cocktail that was never intended to be a daily staple for aging bodies. One ingredient that raises red flags is titanium dioxide, the same brightening pigment used in certain paints and cosmetics. In controlled experiments published in recent years, animals exposed to titanium dioxide showed early intestinal inflammation and signals of DNA stress in as little as 3 weeks. At the cellular level, this kind of oxidative pressure can chip away at tissue resilience and accelerate age-related wear. Furthermore, many non-dairy creamers rely on partially hydrogenated or heavily refined seed oils rich in omega-6 fats. When omega-6 intake dwarfs omega-3s, the body's inflammatory balance tilts in the wrong direction. In analyses of older adults, those with the highest omega-6 burden performed about 26% worse on composite memory and executive function tasks than peers with more balanced intakes. In real life, that imbalance can show up as stiff or achy joints, fluid retention in the lower legs, and slower, foggier thinking. And then come the sweeteners. Powdered and liquid creamers are frequently packed with corn syrup solids, maltodextrin, or similar fast-acting carbs. These can send insulin and glucose soaring within 15 to 20 minutes, triggering the classic spike and crash cycle, a brief burst of energy followed by fatigue, brain fog, cravings, and, over time, creeping weight gain, all of that from a tablespoon or two. Protect yourself by skipping the fake creamers altogether. If you want something creamy, choose organic full-fat milk, or use unsweetened almond milk fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Better yet, enjoy your coffee black and add a tiny pinch of mineral-rich pink salt to round the flavor. That single swap can mean steadier energy, clearer focus, and a calmer stomach, without the daily dose of additives. 4. Flavored instant coffee mixes. You see them everywhere, and they're quietly hard on your kidneys. On the surface, these packets look like a harmless indulgence, quick to make, great aroma, and often stamped with vitamin added or no sugar. But what the labels gloss over is that many flavored mixes are built on a stack of additives that can disrupt metabolism as we get older. A recurring culprit is propylene glycol, the solvent that helps artificial flavors disperse evenly. It's a petroleum-derived carrier, and when kidney filtration slows with age, repeated exposure can accumulate. In a recent multi-center cohort of adults 65 and above, about 1,900 participants, daily drinkers of flavored instant mixes showed a 34% higher likelihood of developing insulin resistance within a year compared with peers who avoided them, an early step on the road to type 2 diabetes. These mixes also tend to hide industrial fats. Look for terms like hydrogenated palm oil on the fine print. Regular intake of hydrogenated creamers has been linked to a 24% higher incidence of heart events over roughly 4 years in older adults, alongside average LDL bumps of around 16 mg per deciliter, changes that quietly encourage plaque formation. Sweetness is another trap. Many packets rely on sucralose or acesulfame potassium. Even without calories, these sweeteners can nudge the gut microbiome off balance and skew post-meal glucose responses. Controlled feeding trials show measurable shifts in as little as 2 weeks. The result is a familiar pattern: quick energy, then a crash, fatigue, brain fog, and cravings that make weight control tougher over time. The fix is simple: skip the flavored packets. If you love a hint of hazelnut or vanilla, use a drop of pure vanilla extract, a shake of cinnamon, or a dusting of unsweetened cocoa in freshly brewed coffee. It's cleaner, more natural, and far kinder to your kidneys, your heart, and your blood sugar with every cup. Now that you know which coffees could silently damage your brain, heart, and kidneys, let's flip the script. Not all coffee is harmful. In fact, certain types of coffee, when prepared correctly, can actually protect your memory, boost muscle strength, and lower your risk of disease dramatically. But you have to know exactly which ones to choose and how to use them. So, here are the 4 best coffees every senior should be drinking daily. 1. Coffee with MCT oil and Ceylon cinnamon. Pairing a clean, well-roasted coffee with 2 anti-inflammatory allies, MCT oil and true Ceylon cinnamon, turns a simple morning ritual into a brain-supporting, muscle-protective upgrade. MCTs, medium-chain triglycerides, sourced from coconut, are absorbed rapidly and converted into ketones, an efficient backup fuel for the aging brain when glucose use becomes less reliable. In a 2023 randomized study of older adults, adding MCT oil led to a 24% improvement in working memory and cognitive flexibility over 10 weeks, suggesting sharper focus and smoother mental switching throughout the day. And the advantages don't stop at cognition. MCTs help dial down hunger signals, steady post-meal glucose, and nudge metabolism toward burning fat rather than breaking down lean tissue, key defenses against sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that makes stairs tougher, balance shakier, and injuries more likely. Layer in Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon distinct from common cassia, and you add targeted support for blood sugar control, vascular tone, and inflammatory balance. Its signature compound, cinnamaldehyde, enhances insulin sensitivity and encourages healthier circulation. A 2023 meta-analysis reported that daily Ceylon cinnamon lowered fasting glucose by about 14 mg per deciliter in older adults, and trimmed triglycerides by roughly 22%, reinforcing metabolic stability. How to make it? Brew a medium roast with filtered water. Stir in 1 tablespoon of MCT oil and about 3/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Blend for 20 seconds for a silky texture, or stir vigorously if you prefer. Drink it within 25 minutes of waking, ideally 15 minutes before food, to maximize fat burning and mental clarity. This isn't just a wake-up call, it's a gentle reset for cellular energy use. For seniors aiming to stay sharp, lean, and strong well into their 70s, 80s, and even 90s, this is the top coffee upgrade. 2. Coffee with collagen peptides. Few upgrades deliver as much return as this one. Stirring a scoop of hydrolyzed collagen into your morning coffee turns a simple habit into daily support for bones, joints, and muscle integrity. Collagen is the body's most abundant structural protein, and its natural production tapers as we move through later midlife. One reason stiffness creeps in, skin looks less springy, wounds knit more slowly, and muscles don't feel as resilient. Mixing collagen with coffee, especially when taken before breakfast, provides readily absorbed amino acids right when tissues are primed to use them. In a 2023 double-blind trial of adults aged 62 to 78 over 20 weeks, participants who added 12 grams of collagen peptides to their morning coffee saw roughly a 33% gain in joint mobility, about a 29% drop in day-to-day muscle soreness, and a measurable 2.3% increase in femoral neck bone mineral density. The why is straightforward. Collagen supplies glycine, proline, and other building blocks that help refurbish cartilage and connective tissue while shoring up the scaffolding that keeps you moving comfortably. Collagen peptides are virtually flavorless and dissolve cleanly in hot liquids, making coffee an ideal vehicle. The warmth helps circulation, which in turn delivers those amino acids to where repair is needed most. For best results, choose a hydrolyzed powder for easier absorption, sourced from grass-fed bovine or wild-caught marine collagen, and verified by third-party testing for purity and heavy metals. Lower-quality products can carry contaminants that undermine your goals. Have it first thing in the morning or 30 to 45 minutes before a walk or light strength session to support recovery and muscle tone. This isn't just about appearance, it's about structure, from quieter knees on the stairs to steadier strength and more resilient skin. 1 cup, upgraded, working with your biology instead of against it. 3. Cold brew concentrate. Trendy or not, for many people over 60 it's a gentle powerhouse for the gut. Because the coffee grounds steep in cold water instead of hot, the resulting brew is markedly less acidic. Reductions of roughly 60% compared with standard hot coffee are common. In a gastroenterology clinic audit at a major teaching hospital, 84% of older adults with chronic reflux reported they could drink cold brew comfortably, including many who hadn't tolerated regular coffee for years. Cold extraction reshapes the chemistry. Cool water pulls caffeine and protective antioxidants, while leaving behind a good share of the bitter conic acids that form under high heat. You keep the benefits and shed much of the bite. Metabolically, that shift matters. Laboratory profiling has shown cold brew can deliver about 28% more compounds associated with a smoother metabolic response than hot brewed coffee. Welcome news as metabolism naturally slows with age. The antioxidant signature is equally compelling. Cold brew is rich in melanoidins, Maillard reaction products formed from amino acids, and sugars that help buffer oxidative stress in aging tissues, including the eyes. In a 4.5-year observational cohort, seniors who drank cold brew daily had a 27% lower incidence of age-related vision decline than non-coffee drinkers. Concentration is the secret weapon. A bottled or homemade concentrate lets you set your exact dose by dilution. Mix 1 part concentrate with 4 parts water for a mellow morning cup, or go 1-to-1 for a more assertive lift later in the day. Precision pays off because caffeine sensitivity rises with age. By about 65, the liver clears caffeine roughly 29% more slowly than it did in the mid-30s, so dialing in your dose helps prevent jitters and protects your sleep. Storage and ease are big wins. 2. Left refrigerated, Cold brew concentrate stays fresh for about 10 days. No daily brewing, no wrestling with kettles or machines. Just pour, dilute, and sip. Many older adults make a larger batch every couple of weeks and freeze extra in ice cube trays. The cubes keep well for up to 6 weeks and make portioning effortless. Want to make your own? Use a coarse grind on a medium roast. Combine 1 cup of grounds with 5 cups of cold, filtered water, stir, cover, and steep for about 18 hours. Strain through a fine mesh or paper filter. The finished concentrate has been measured with around 180% more magnesium than typical hot coffee, a meaningful bump for heart rhythm, bone strength, and muscle function after 60. If you prefer extra softness, add a splash of milk or an unsweetened calcium-fortified plant drink. You'll further temper acidity while boosting minerals. This is coffee that respects an aging body, steady on the stomach, customizable for energy, and kind to sleep. For organic medium roast Arabica, it may sound simple, but choosing organic Arabica beans roasted to a medium profile and brewing them with clean, filtered water can deliver tangible benefits for older adults, especially when stacked against darker roasts or Robusta-heavy blends. What sets this option apart is the antioxidant balance preserved in a medium roast, where beans aren't scorched and the most valuable compounds remain intact. Arabica naturally carries higher levels of chlorogenic acids, antioxidants that help calm inflammation and support healthier glucose handling. In a recent analysis of seniors drinking 2 cups of Arabica daily, participants showed a 22% lower likelihood of developing type 2 diabetes, and a 14% drop in systemic inflammatory markers compared with non-coffee drinkers. Medium roasting keeps more of these protective molecules while avoiding the harsher, over-roasted byproducts that darker profiles can introduce. Water quality matters just as much. Brewing with filtered water helps you sidestep excess chlorine and trace metals that can leach from aging pipes, think lead or copper, which add avoidable strain to kidneys and may cloud cognition over time. Using purified water turns your daily cup into a small but meaningful safeguard for your nervous system and long-term cellular health. For the best extraction, opt for a slow pour-over or a drip machine paired with a paper filter. These methods preserve antioxidants while dialing back the bitterness that can bother sensitive stomachs. Black coffee delivers the fullest benefit, but if you like it creamy, add a splash of grass-fed full-fat milk or an unsweetened oat milk fortified with B12 and riboflavin. This isn't just a wake-up, it's a steadying force for blood sugar, a quiet shield for your arteries, and a nudge against the low-grade inflammation that accelerates aging from the inside out. Your coffee can be a daily medicine, or a daily mistake. Today you've seen how small choices add up. Avoid unfiltered brews and chemical-laced decofs, skip artificial creamers and flavored packets, and lean into smarter options like paper-filtered Arabica, cold brew concentrate, MCT with Salon cinnamon, and collagen-fortified cups brewed with clean, filtered water. These aren't fads, they're simple, science-backed upgrades that steady blood sugar, protect arteries, calm the gut, and keep your brain sharp well past 60. Start tomorrow with one change you can keep. Tell us which swap you're making and whether you usually drink coffee in place of breakfast. We're reading every comment and replying with tips tailored to you. If this helped, tap subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss our next evidence-based guide. Like this video to help it reach someone who needs it, and share it with a friend who loves their morning cup. Here's to coffee that works for you, not against you.